right. I hope everybody's doing well. It's Alex Scandalis. Welcome to our kickoff call here for Grand Park for 2021. I hope everybody had a good start to the new year. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, any of those holidays. Excited to kind of get back at it here for a full year. Hopefully COVID cooperates. I hope everybody is staying safe and staying healthy. I know it's certainly been a tough run for everybody with COVID and all that. So we'll talk a little bit about everything here tonight, touch on a bunch of subjects, and hopefully give you guys an overview similar to the way we did last year, and then hopefully be ready to go here at the end of March. So I just want to very briefly, we'll have 4 speakers tonight on this call besides myself. Michael Tucker is with us from Bullpen Tournaments. Rob Silverthorne is with us. Derek Whitfield's with us, and our brand new director of training, Brian DeBrouwer, is with us tonight, and you'll just get a little bit of an introduction to him for those of you guys that don't know him. So without further ado, I believe, Tuck, you're on the call. I think I see your number there, although for some reason your name doesn't come up like everybody else's, but wanted to give Michael Tucker a few minutes here to just give us an overview of Bullpen and what's going on and everything that he sees with the umpire program over the last year and moving into the future.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Alex. Can you hear me? Make sure.
Yep.
Cool. So, actually, Rhett and I are actually in Creekside today. But, I can't say enough good things about how last year went. In a pandemic and rules changing weekly, with our staff, with you guys, with all of it, I just want to first off say thank you to everybody that was involved. From Derek and Rob and Alex, and, Jordan, and to every single umpire that worked at Grand Park. I thought it was a huge success for us just to be able to play and be able to play at the caliber that we did. I just want to say thank you to all of you that were involved. Last year was the best year from an umpiring standpoint, from a just all-inclusive that we've had in Grand Park's history. I see 2021 just continuing. Our Bullpen's growth and PBRT's growth is really cool to be a part of right now. What makes that growth able to happen is the fact that at Grand Park we have such an awesome group of umpires, to staff, to everybody. We really look at it like a team effort. And I know Derek and I are kind of going to get into it later with quad guys and stuff like that, but I've been around a lot of places where it's just, hey, you're the umpire. I'm sorry, you're the umpire. And for us, we look at it as you're a teammate. Hey, we can't do our job without you. And so we want to help and support you guys and back you guys up and just know that we're in your corner. And I'm in your corner, and all of our staff is in your corner, and we truly do look at you guys as our teammate. So, if there's ever an issue, I'm there probably too much. But find one of our staff members, and we'll be happy to correct it. So, I'm always around. So, if you're there this year, come say hi to me. If I know you, love to say hi. If I haven't met you, love to meet you. So, I'll be on the call, and Derek and I know we're going to talk in a little bit. So, that's all I got.
Thanks, Tuck. Guys, I want to kind of echo everything that Tuck said. Obviously it was our first year as United, and the amount of cooperation, the amount of sacrifice and just effort we got from everybody involved in this program, from umpires to people that helped our staff at all of our complexes to people that worked behind the scenes on hotels and all kinds of crazy stuff. some of you guys may have some insight into what it takes to put together an operation like this, but it's not easy. I'm so grateful for the team of guys that I have, not only in Indianapolis, but also in Atlanta and Kansas City and all kind of the random other sites that we have on weekends for smaller tournaments. So, and I think in the conversations that ended the year, I think one of the things that I kept hearing over and over was, of course, the umpiring, the program was good. The umpiring, in terms of on the field was what we expected it to be, what we needed it to be. But the one thing that I kept hearing is we just feel like there's a better class of person at our fields now. And sometimes that might be a person that's been at Grand Park for however long, but just in 2020, stepped up to the plate a little bit more, whatever it may be. But I think all of that comes from acting as kind of one cohesive unit, and that's people have work to do on the field. Some of us have admin work. Some of us have both of those. And, it's a team effort, and our staff and our admin piece couldn't be successful without the work on the field or the work from the people from bullpen. So, one of our big goals in 2021 here is to just keep that up. And I think our job gets a little bit more challenging as I think baseball opens up, and obviously more college summer leagues are playing. Professional baseball is going to come back, and high school baseball is going to be played at maybe some odd times in some surrounding states. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep chugging along, and we want you guys to all keep doing what you were doing. We'll talk about some procedures and policies through the night, and at the end of the night, as we get towards the end, I'll just talk about a few things that I would like to see improved. I'm sure there's things you would love to see improved from your side, and I obviously kind of will have some thoughts at the end to talk to you about. So without hearing me drone on any longer, we're pretty excited to have Brian DeBrouwer on board this year as our director of training. He will be helping us coordinate, administer some of our clinics across a lot of different brands that United's associated with, down to my group in New Jersey and our collegiate group, but main focus being kind of with UTU for clinics, but then also for just generally kind of putting out some information that I think will really help our group, and hopefully as Grand Park gets more and more video, we'll be able to do more and more across the complexes. But without kind of me giving you everything about him, I know Brian wants to say a few words about how he feels about the new job and what he's looking for in 2021.
Thanks, Alex. And hello, everyone. It is truly my pleasure to be joining this team in an official capacity. Watching what you all did last year was inspiring, truly. So it's very exciting for me to be a part of a group that cares about doing what is right for the umpires, and that is what United stands for. I want to talk about two things today. The first is the upcoming release of our United mantras. These are going to be a series of simple thoughts that you can take with you onto the field every time you work. Understanding these mantras and constantly evaluating your work by using them will hopefully, almost certainly, make you a better prepared umpire. The mantras are not complicated, but are simple reminders about the fundamentals that will make us better. Things such as proper use of eyes and how employing it will fix our timing without having to use artificial delay tactics. The reality for a travel ball umpire and most amateur umpires is that a large percentage of the games you work won't have a supervisor's eyes on it. You have to be your own evaluator, and these mantras will serve as a guideline to help you do that. The second item I want to put in your head today is about being a good partner. There are many ways to be a good partner, but today I want to talk specifically about our pre- and post-game conversations. Sharing openly with each other raises the level of all of our work, and we're better for it. We will be producing a printable card that you can keep with you in your lineup card holder to serve as a guideline for these pre- and post-game conversations. Our hope is that you all will embrace the opportunity to share your thoughts in a constructive manner, and that's the key piece, is being constructive, with each other. Remember, there's something to learn from every game and every partner. With that, I'll just say that I'm very excited to be in a position to serve all of you. If you have specific questions or training items that you'd like to see addressed, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I'm always available. Have a great start to your season, and remember, always use your eyes properly. Take care, guys. Alex, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. I guess I was expecting maybe a little bit of background there, but I can do that too. And I think Brian actually probably showed you who he was more than anything by what he did there. And he's just a constant teacher of umpires, a guy that's in umpires' corners. And I know a lot of you have had some experience with Brian DeBrouwer in the past, and you'll see a ton more of him kind of in a way that he's managing a lot of the guys that have helped us and helped umpires at Grand Park and other places. So Brian will have the charge of taking some of those one-on-one conversations that you have with guys like John Brower and Jim Jackson and Jeff Spizak and trying to get some of that information so that we can pass it on to a broad group. It just doesn't die in a one-on-one conversation, but now we can spread it to a larger group. So thanks, Brian. Kind of getting into the meat of the call and some of the stuff that, procedurally I just want to go through at Grand Park in terms of our tournament games. As you guys know, we basically determine fees by whether it's a 2-hour time limit or an hour and 45 time limit. The fees will remain the same. Game fees, $60 and $50 for those two respectively in 2021. In terms of payment process, I think I did my absolute best to try to be honest with you guys about payment and when we would be paid. And I hope for most people, the idea of paying on the next Monday so that you guys had it by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that. I really hope that was something that worked for everyone. There will be no change to that. We'll still have a PayPal option. Bank of America you'll see some transfers from Bank of America, and then I will be using a different online bank called Blue Vine. So if you see ever a deposit from Blue Vine, you know what it is. I've had a couple of questions on that already with some stuff I've processed this year. So, and just remember, the parent company is called DYJ. So if you're ever in a spot where you see a deposit from DYJ or get a check from DYJ, that is what that is. I would definitely recommend for anyone that has requested that their payment come via check, if that's something that you need in the immediate on a weekly basis. That's a tough choice on payment because no matter what I do, for some reason, Bank of America takes 7 days to process a check. So just keep that in mind. If that is your choice, we can do it. It's not a problem. But if it's not there in 2 or 3 days, unfortunately, it's not something that I can control. So I just want to put that out there and make sure that everyone's aware of that if they do choose that option. Our registration and fees for the year for United, nothing has changed there in terms of what the fee is. we basically allow you to hold that fee in your pocket until you work a game. If you're going to pay up front, it would be before your first game, and then it's $75 if we wind up in a situation where you don't pay before your first game and you elect for us to take it out, then it actually goes up to $100. And again, that's the same as last year, and probably envision that being the same for the foreseeable future. We did have a change to arbiter this year, so we are going away from referee schedule. I think based on the registrations that we've gotten and adding probably 80 to 85% of those registrations into arbiter, it seems like a lot of you have used arbiter before and are familiar with it. Every assigning system gives us challenges and has great things about it. There were good things about referee schedule. There were bad things. There are good things about arbiter. There are bad things. From where I come from, arbiters just gives me a little bit easier reporting on the back end, from the standpoint of having to run reports and run payroll in a timely manner. So that's the reason for the switch. Good or bad, I'm sure there's some that think it's good and some that think it's bad. It's just, again, the decision we kind of went with. So as I just referred to that registration form, so there's a brand new registration form for 2021. We have over 400 people that have taken the time to fill that out. The goal this year was to have one form that it didn't matter what your primary location of work was going to be, whether it be Atlanta, Kansas City, or Indianapolis. You were going to fill out the same form, and at the same time, you were going to get all of your banking information in there. So last year, just with the pandemic and starting kind of quickly in June when, we didn't know when we were going to start, I wound up hitting you guys with 5 different Google forms, and it was kind of a pain on my end, and I'm sure it was a pain for you guys to have to keep filling this stuff out. So this year we got it to one form. The answer to the question of if I worked in 2020, do I have to fill it out in 2021 is yes. I think most of you have done that. I know as of maybe last week we had probably 80 or 90 people that worked a significant amount in 2020 that still hadn't filled out that registration form. So if you're one of those people, I'll post it on Facebook in the United Umpires and United Travel sections, and that'll be there if you still need to fill it out. The way you will know if I have your registration is you'll get an invite from arbiter. So I would say probably about the last 20 or 30 people that registered, I just haven't had a chance to get you in there yet. So if you registered, say, in the last 7 days, I probably have it. It's just not done yet. So that's how you know if you're registered. So you don't have to keep registering. You'll see the arbiter group. It's actually entitled NJSAB UTU 19. Okay, so it's NJSAB-UTU-19. There's some other groups that I'm a member of that we kind of share that with because arbiter gives us a better rate there for more officials. But when you go to look at that, and the arbiter group number is 102711. We will again do background checks. We use People Trail, which is the same group that the NCAA uses. It looks like almost, I would say, 99% of you said yes, you wouldn't have a problem with a background check. So if you did click no there, I'll probably be in touch with you. And kind of the same format as last year as I've talked to them. Basically, it's a green check mark or it's a yellow mark. And the yellow mark or yellow check mark indicates to me that you guys are in a situation where something flagged. I get a notification of what flagged. There's a lot of times that internally, when I see that yellow flag and see the reason, I'll just clear it myself because it just isn't significant. There are times where I may have to talk to my bosses, and then I'll talk to you about it. So we were very lucky in 2020. I don't think we had – I don't remember a single instance where anyone was excluded because of a background check. So we do them. Obviously, we're in that youth baseball market, and we want to do that for our customers, for our clients, and then just it's kind of the way things go these days. Last thing, United hats. So we will not do hats in the same way that we did them last year. Umpires are responsible for their own hats. So those hats, United hats, are available on Stripes and Strikes. Take a look at your hat. If it needs work, let's get a new hat. I sent out some information where we can get our hats shipped directly to Grand Park or to Atlanta or to Kansas City. So take a look at that information, please. I sent it via email. It's also on the Facebook page. But definitely take a look at your hats. And the only other thing on hats I want to get cleared up is Keith at Stripes and Strikes will have 4, 6, and 8-stitch hats. So we gave you guys all 6s for the most part last year. We had a couple 4s and 8s hanging around that I know we got some of you guys into. But, if you need a 4-stitch, you need an 8-stitch, those are also available. So that is kind of all I have on my piece right now. I will roll it over to Rob for the first time tonight to talk a little bit about some assigning, what he expects in Indianapolis, and how him and Derek work together on some of that stuff.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate all the information. Guys, first off, just kind of go back to Tuck, and I couldn't do my job without the people at Bullpen and all the people that are associated with United. It's been last year was a tough year, but we made it pretty smooth for what I think is. There's always going to be hiccups, and the guys that we worked with did a great job, and I was very, very pleased with all that. In Indy, Derek and I are going to kind of work together with a lot of the assigning games. So what we're going to do is just kind of, we're going to load them into Arbiter, and when guys want to work, they're going to, they always try to reach out, shoot texts back and forth, hey, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there, but you still got to make sure that your schedule or your calendars in Arbiter are to date. You got to make sure that they, when you tell us, hey, I want to work here or I want to work there, my schedule is open, I want to make sure to go in there and make sure you're open. And if you're not available, make sure that you go in there and block those, because it's a little bit different than referee schedule. One of the things we're going to try to do this year is Arbiter allows us to link games together. So we're going to link games together in, 3 or 4 game sets to try to, you only have to accept one game or one thing, and you'll have 4 games in that set. So that's just something that we'll do, or we'll try to do to try to make it a little bit easier on everybody. And if you can't work one of the games that are in the set, then that'll have to be a phone call to Derek or I. And when you try to call Derek, or when you have an issue at Indy, try to call Derek and get in touch with him. If you can't get a hold of him, call me, and we'll just take care of it. Our first weekend in the spring will be March the 26th. So within 7 days of that, before that, we will be putting the schedule out there. So, it's going to be a full-packed spring, and I know we all have, college games and high school games, and everybody has stuff going on, but with a full spring, we'll need everybody to work, around their high school and their college schedules as best we can. When you're free, let us know and we'll put you to work. Alex, and that's all I have on the assigning side of it. I know Derek's going to be talking about some hotels and things like that.
Yep, thank you, Rob. Can everybody hear me?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good deal. Thank you, guys, first and foremost, for everyone that's here on this call tonight. Very excited for the 2021 season here in Indianapolis. 2020 went very good. I was very impressed with how the operation went. I was also very impressed with the level of umpiring that we had. It definitely elevated, and here in 2021, there's always room for improvement. So I'm looking forward to that. Here in Indy, we are different than other locations. We actually do offer lodging for our out-of-town umpires. We do charge $10 a night for hotels. That $10 a night will be taken out of your check at the end of that week. I do ask that you be patient with your hotel assignment. You will have them in the day before. If you have an 8 a.m. game, normally you will have a hotel that day before. Hotels will be in by 3 p.m. Sometimes it's 2:58. Sometimes it's 1 o'clock. But normally, from how everything went last year, I was able to get all hotels in by 3 p.m., which is normally what your check-in time will be. Arbiter is different from ref schedule. On the ref schedule, we had a hotel tab on there, so I would go in and put your hotel, your confirmation number in there. We will work on getting something to figure out how we will relay that info to you, because Arbiter does not have a hotel tab. So just bear with us there. We will get you info about that. Rooms will be 2 to 3 guys. We do ask that each person does carry an air mattress in their vehicle. Sometimes the hotel does not have a rollaway, or they have already given their rollaways away. So we do ask that everyone bring an air mattress just in case. Keep your rooms clean. Guys did very well last year with that. Didn't get many complaints. Just know that you do represent United Umpires, and also you represent bullpen tournaments, which they are a big reason why we are able to get hotels. So let's not do something to where that's taken away from us. Let's see. Guys that are wanting to stay the entire summer, June and July, I kind of want to go over some things as of what you can expect. Starting the last weekend in May, I believe it is, we will go to 5 days a week. Normally hotels will be sent out on Tuesday. You will start work on Wednesday. You'll work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You will check out of your hotel Sunday morning before going to the baseball field. Rooms Sunday night and Monday night will be on your own. Those are the only 2 nights that we do not offer. Plenty of guys do stay around for the entire summer, so as you meet guys, kind of see who's staying. Normally you can go on one of the websites, find a hotel for Sunday and Monday night for $60 a night, and you split that, make out pretty well with that. There will be opportunities as well. If you do decide to stay for the entire 8 weeks, I want to say it is, there will be opportunities on off nights to make a little extra money. We do have also a rec league at Grand Park. We have a men's league. We also have the college league, and many other games that are played out there that are outside of tournament games. So there will be opportunities outside of the Wednesday through Sunday tournaments or the Thursday through Sunday tournaments for you to also make some extra cash there. We have a new addition with bullpen tournaments. They will also be hosting games at a brand new facility up in Kokomo, Indiana. From what I've been told, this complex is a 25-minute drive from Grand Park.
25 from my office with 25 minutes from my office to the parking lot at Kokomo on the dot.
Perfect. Good deal. So that makes it good for us. If there's ever a change and we need to send somebody up there, guys, just understand that's how far the drive will be. Also, if you're an out-of-town guy and you get assigned games there, understand that it's going to be 25 minutes north of that. So very excited about that. Saw some pictures of the facility the other day. Looks very similar to Grand Park. So we'll be excited. They have 4 big fields there and 4 little fields. Let's see. Let's do some other things here. Rob, if you want to step back in and go over some expectations we have for 2021.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, expectations, guys. It's, stuff that you've all heard before, I'm assuming. But, uniforms is a big thing. We want to match your partner. That includes the hat. We got a bunch of different hats, different color combos and all the stuff that we've done through last year. And we want your hats to match with what your partner's wearing. Like Alex said, 4, 6, 8-stitch hats. They're all available at Stripes and Strikes. And they have a lot of other stuff on there that you guys can kind of look at and get. And as long as you match your partner, we should be good with a lot of those things. Clean your shoes, press your pants, be professional. I mean, those are things that we everybody talks about, but we need to, we talk about them, but we need to walk the walk too. We need those things to be there. We showed up at Grant Park this year, and there was a few guys that had some, I call them purple people eaters, which are some nice purple pants that have been in the sun way too long. I gave a couple guys a few pairs of pants and some shoes that they needed, that type of thing. But, we really need to be professional, and that includes what we're wearing. And not only that, but, how we are on the field. Just be professional, One of my pet peeves really is guys showing up, 15, 20 minutes before game time. Guys, we need to be at the field 45 minutes to an hour before. Get there, get your chair set up, get your area kind of put together, get dressed for the game, be on the field 10 minutes before. 10 minutes before game time, if you're, the guy's rolling in hot, you're there 10 or 15 minutes before, and you're not on the field 10 minutes before, those games are going to start late. When you work there's 5 or 6 games on that field, sometimes there's 7. Those games, if you're late to the first one, I guarantee you we're going to be late starting the last game of the day. So we want to start every game and be there on time, be there 10 minutes before, and that'll just help your partners out and people that are coming to take those last few games from you in the evening. Try to get them out of there on time. Clean up after yourselves in the towers and in the parking lots. I think last year was I think that we could have done a way better job of that. We have a few different areas where we park, and umpires we're all spread all over this park, and this park needs to stay clean, and we need to do our part and not leave all the stuff all over the place, because all these people that come to Grand Park, they see where we're parked at, they know where we're at, they're not allowed in those areas, and they come in the morning and there's trash all over the place, and they're like, oh, that's where the umpires park. It's not a good look, not something that we want to we want to be all about. We want to take care of that park. They take care of us. I'm sure Tucker and all the staff at Bullpen would appreciate that we could actually pick up after ourselves. And I'm not saying everybody did a bad job of that. It's just we need to continue to do those type of things to keep the park nice. Phone calls. One thing I wanted to just kind of touch base, I get phone calls all the time from umpires, and, if I'm busy doing stuff and I can't take the phone call, I get the, hey, Rob, give me a call. I really wish you'd leave me a message, and I'm sure Alex and Derek are the same way. and Todd and Josh as well. But we want if you have something that you need to talk to us about, we can't pick up the phone right away. Leave us a message or shoot us a text. So we already have the answer when we call you back. We have a lot of things we need to do, and it's very easy to leave a message. That way I can get back with you and give you an answer of what you need, and I can get off and then give myself time for somebody else that's calling me or shooting me texts and stuff like that. So that's the thing that we need to do. And if we call you, it's extremely important. I mean, that we need you to pick up the phone. If we're reaching out by phone, then we need you to pick up the phone because we really need to talk to you. We got something going on, especially when the tournament's going. So pick up the phone. And I'm sure there's a few things that I left out. Maybe Alex will go over those at the end. But guys, that's really all I have for me tonight. But I just want to kind of reiterate this is we've done a lot of really nice things in year one, but we can be better in year two, and we can be better in year three. I'm not one of those guys that want to just say, hey, we're good and we're good here. I always want to improve, and I think this group of guys that we have will do that, and we'll do a good job for United and for Bullpen and PBRT. Thanks, Alex.
Cool.
Yeah, Derek, you want to talk a little bit about – oh, go ahead, D.
Yep. All right, so, guys, we're going to talk about our changing areas for this year. It's going to run pretty much the same as last year. So, parking one, we please ask that you park in Lot C, and you and your partner park together. Make sure you kind of stay away from players, parents, and coaches, please, in the parking lot. Fields 2 through 5, you guys will park in Lot H. Same as last year, but let's try it this year. We will designate an area again, like we did this past year. We're going to try to get you guys more away from the batting cages. So just know fields 2 through 5, you will be parking in Lot H. Fields 6 through 9, you guys will be parking in Lot B. That Lot B is where the baseball admin building is. You will be parking west of that building, up on the grassy hill, just like you did last year. Fields 10 through 12. Over in the flex area, there's a shed storage area inside of a fenced gate. We ask that all of you that are on fields 10 through 12 to park inside of that gate. That will keep you guys secured there. Will keep you away from the parking lot with the players, fans, and coaches. And also we can gate it in to where nobody else comes around you guys. And you also have a straight shot to all of your fields there at 10, 11, and 12. Fields 13 through 26. So all of the U side, we ask that you go to the towers. Fields 13 through 18, you will go to, and in fields 13 through 26 is Lot J. J is the junior side. So 13 through 18, you guys will go up in the junior turf tower. 19 through 26, you guys can go in the softball quad tower. So there's 2 towers there on the junior side. 1 tower is in junior turf where the lights are. The other tower is in the softball quad where there are no lights. We will designate off 19 through 22. You guys are allowed to park in the parking lot. 19 through 22, you can park in the parking lot. We will designate an area there where we will have it roped off. But if you would like to go up into the tower, you're more than welcome to do so. Makes it easier for us, especially when it comes to rain delays and things like that, or if you guys are changing out, we know exactly where you are. This is very important. Just know that it gets tough sometimes. Last year, guys were parking scattered all out in Lot J. Made it tough for some of us whenever we would come and find you. So let's all just do a better job this year, and let's all go to where we are supposed to be at to change. Next, I'm going to go over a couple of things we're working with our bullpen staff. So on the high school side, you will have a worker at each field, also with a quad manager. Junior side, you will have quad managers on both sides in your junior tower, in your junior grass area, junior flex, and also in the softball quad. These guys are very important to us as far as work-related. Every single worker that's there at bullpen is on your team. That's something that we all need to understand. These guys are not there to be against us. These guys are there to help us. At the end of the day, we all want to go to work, have a good time, and get out of there with no issues. If there's ever anything going on that you need addressed that's outside of the fence, that is anything outside of the game, we do not yell at fans, first and foremost. What you do, you will simply just get the attention of a bullpen worker and just simply tell him that this person needs to leave. That's all you need to do. You have done your job once you tell a field manager or a quad manager about somebody that needs to be removed. And Michael Tucker, you could come in and kind of chime over a couple things here if you want to.
Yeah, with one more side. Yeah, one more thing on that you just said. If we're going to remove a fan, right, which my staff 100% I echo that. Let us handle that. I don't need our guy doesn't need the whole story, but even if it's just like, hey, he's being removed or being mouthy or he swore, give me just the snippet, the 4-word version of what happened. Give our guy that. Just because a lot of times once we ask that guy to be removed, then obviously he's going to call a scene. He's going to say, well, what did I do? And then it just gives us that ammo to be able to be like, hey, you swore or you said too much or, whatever it is. Just know we'll always have your back, when that happens for sure.
Good deal. Game time. Please, we had couple of issues last year about it. Be honest with game time. We start the clock on the first pitch of the game, and we let it go all the way through. That becomes an issue if you guys cut games short by 3 or 4 minutes. Then now we have to deal with that, and it becomes a pain whenever that happens. Just please be honest about the game time and how long it has gone on.
We chart the first pitch. We chart the first pitch on our end, so on the high school side of things. So once that first pitch is thrown, it actually timestamps it. So us in the office, we can pull up when the first pitch of a high school game was thrown. So I know it sucks if there's a minute left, and I get it too. I hate it too from a schedule standpoint, but these guys are all doing game changer, or they're all watching the game on their end too. They know exactly when it starts. It's probably the biggest thing that we fight on our end.
Yeah. Also, each week, tournaments do change between each plus A, bullpen tournaments. So be mindful of the rules that we are using that week. We will do a better job on our end as administrators to communicate with you guys on what's going on that particular weekend. Understand the run rules, understand what different rules we're using, whether it's each plus A, whether it's bullpen. That's very important. Now, if you're stuck on something, hey, it's okay to get time, call over a bullpen worker and ask. If they don't know, they will radio in and ask us, and we will make sure that it's correct. So don't feel like you have to be some type of hero out there, and all of a sudden now what you're telling everybody the rule is actually not correct. So let's make sure we are 100% each week during games on which rules we are using. And I believe that's all I have for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'm very excited for this 2021 season. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Alex.
Wait, I'm gonna throw just a couple more things in, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Tucker.
No, you're good. So, guys, on the high school side, we're developing the scoring app. It is imperative that we make sure on the app we have the right lineup set. So one, if somebody tells you during the game, hey, I'm sub, 3 hitting for 10, right? Help us out. Like, our guy is supposed to figure that out, but a lot of times I'm dealing with a high school or college kid who's not there. So if you can help me out and turn around, and almost like in like the big leagues, basically, give like a wave to where our scorekeeper is, either if it's upstairs or right behind home plate. Like, hey, we got a sub here. Help us out. That's like huge. That's huge to help us. The other thing, our guys may at times be like, hey, hold on, time. I gotta get this right in here. So our lineup now feeds basically where you can see our games online. It feeds stats, it feeds leaders, leaderboards, and so it's like, especially on the high school side, like it's really an emphasis on our guys. Like, they get chewed out pretty good if they mess up. So if you can help them out on there, that's huge. And then the other one, and just to echo what Whit said, like, if you get a rule question, or if somebody's asking about a rule, like, I'd rather get that right. We had a couple times last year. We had a couple issues last year where, we're just trying to get the game done. We're fighting darkness. It's like, hey, we'll figure that out later. And unfortunately, that's what gets our guys in more trouble than like, hey, let's just get it figured out right now. So, just one more time to echo, we try to be your teammate. I love these guys. There's a bunch of you that have been coming out for 5 years, and I can't thank you enough. And I look forward to seeing all your beautiful faces soon.
Thanks, Tuck. All right. Well, I get to, in some way, be a little bit of the bad guy here, which I'm okay with. I want to first start by saying that last year was an incredible year for umpires, for admin, for bullpen. I just think the way we all pulled together, I admire what all of you did, and kind of echoing on what Rob said and what Derek said. There's always room for some improvement, and we'll continue to strive for that improvement as much as we can. So a couple things that just kind of, as a lot of times the guy who's walking around watching what's going on and letting Derek and Todd and Josh and Rob do their job, I'm just kind of looking around, and a couple things that I saw that I'd really like to try to improve in 2021. And number one, I think, is cell phone usage on the fields. There's no reason for us to be using a cell phone between innings. If you have something going on, like Adam Johnson, where we don't know when his little boy is going to be born, or when his wife's going to go into labor, just tell me, like, hey, I got the phone on the field for this reason, or give him Whit's number or something like that. But pretty much in most situations, there's no reason for us to have a phone on the field. Your girlfriend can go more than 2 hours without you talking to her. And I know people say, hey, I need to keep the time with that. Well, here's my alternative. Go buy a $4 stopwatch. And at the end of the day, like, let's keep the cell phones away. They don't belong on the field. We don't need pictures. We don't need videos. It just looks really unprofessional. And honestly, it's one of the things that I get reamed about. And people come to me and say, why do the umpires have phones on the field? And it's really not necessary. So that's number one. Number two, and I'll be very delicate with this because it's a tough one to talk about, but there's been some times that I've walked around and I've smelled some marijuana smoke, and we just can't have it, guys. I can't have you guys or anybody thinking about smoking pot, coming to a game after smoking pot, or anything like that. Certainly aware that there are a lot of states in this country now that it's legal. So is drinking alcohol. We can't show up to games having had a few beers. We can't show up to games, after maybe, smoking a whatever. So, just don't put Whit, me, Rob, Michael Tucker, bullpen, quad managers, anybody in a situation where, we have to make a call because we're in that spot. So I'd really appreciate help with that. There were some instances last year where, we had to talk to some people. We had to make some adjustments. So it's just really important from a professional standpoint. Again, we wouldn't certainly walk to a plate meeting smelling like alcohol. We're certainly not going to do the same thing with marijuana. So guys, just keep that in mind. Probably the quickest way to get the old exit from Grand Park and from United. So that's all I'll say about that. On-time umpires, Rob kind of hit on it. I'll make it, in terms of time, like I don't want to worry about if you're going to be there. Derek's got too much to do in the morning. Rob's got too much to do in the morning. Like I've got too much to do in the morning. We don't want to have to worry like when's this guy showing up. Give us some time. Get there. I know it's early Sunday morning when it's the fifth day of the weekend. Do your best. Get there. Use that 45 minutes to an hour guideline. But the overall factor there is don't make us bite our nails as to whether someone's showing up. There's no worse feeling for an administrator in the world than that. So help us with that, please. And also, as just to emphasize that, like if you are running late, communicate with us. Don't try to sneak in and hope that we don't see you. Like I can much rather deal with, hey, Alex, this is whoever, I'm running a few minutes late. This is where I actually am. I mean, I will tell you that, when we call you, if you're not there, pick up the phone, tell us where you are. Like we'll figure it out. We have people there who can figure it out. People run late. These things happen. Obviously, if it's a situation that it's you over and over, then it's something to address. But, if you're someone who's always on time and this one time you're running late, let us know. Like, we'll fix it, We want to be in a spot where we can service everybody that we need to service. And that, most importantly, is game one of the day does not need to start late. So if one of us has got to go out there, it's nice to know as opposed to wondering where you are. In terms of, like, just what's going on between innings, especially when it gets hot, we have a tendency, I think, to put coolers kind of back by the brick walls, which, as the fields work at Grand Park, like we're in a bowl there and we're kind of, surrounded on every side with chairs and all that kind of stuff. So I would just ask that, like, let's not have the situation where the base umpire runs all the way to that brick wall with the plate umpire. They're standing next to a cooler, drinking water, and they're 1 foot from a fan. You know what? If that happens a couple times a game because that's how you're getting water, like, I understand that. Let's try to limit interaction with the fans. But some of the things that I saw was that being an every half inning thing. And we don't need that. And if you're a base guy that needs water every half inning, totally understand it. We've got some other places on the field where you can put some water just so we don't have that 2 umpires next to fans around the water cooler every half inning. So let's just take a look at that as we get through, especially as it gets hotter. Obviously, that'll become an issue. And then the last thing that I really have is, and I think we actually did a pretty good job of this after I kind of clarified some things, and everyone did a great job kind of cooperating. But let's well, the power just went out in my house. That's interesting. So let's just make sure that from the standpoint of rain delays, let's kind of get to where we need you to be and get to a place where Derek can find you and I can find you. And that's the one time on the high school side where we will let you go upstairs when it does rain, especially if we're in a situation where it looks like it's going to be a quick turnaround. So as I'm sitting here in the dark trying to read a piece of paper, I will say that there are a couple things here I just want to remind you guys of. Social media platforms, please go to United Umpires, follow our page, request, if you're not in the private group, United Travel Umpires, request an invitation. We'll get you approved. Remember, we just launched our apparel store, so the same place at Stripes and Strikes where you can get hats. There's some other stuff there. A lot of guys have asked us for swag and things like that. So it's there if you want it. No obligation, but we figured we would open a store until February 4th for those of you guys that wanted it. Last thing, there is a umpire camp this weekend being promoted by West Coast Umpires. It is a free Zoom clinic. I put the information up on to Facebook. I would highly recommend. You do not have to go to the whole clinic. They will send you an agenda. Like, just sign up. If you can go to one event here or there, like, that's great. But they are up to over 270 people. I will be sitting on a panel, not that anyone wants to listen to me anymore, but I will be sitting on a panel Sunday morning, 12 o'clock Eastern time, about umpire progression and kind of moving up from level to level and how to do that, and what kind of expectations you should have as you move up. So I'd love to see you on that. Tuck, do you have any last comments here before we wrap this up? We really appreciate you joining us tonight, and it's great to see the support from you guys.
Oh, no problem. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without you guys. The only other thing I would kind of add on, like, that rain delay, Alex, or even for any time where you have to maybe run to your car, and this is more on the junior side of the park. Like, talk to our quad guy about that. Be like, hey man, I left something in my car, or hey, we got 30 minutes, so we're gonna go sit in the car for a little bit, grab a bite to eat. Like, because a lot of times our quad guy, he'll ask, okay, where you park? But that way, if we can't find you, he knows where you are. That's a huge help for us. But I'm excited for another great year. Our goal is to keep improving, and we're hoping to add some video this year too on more fields. So, as that happens, people that ever would want to watch you umpire, if you're doing a big game or if you're doing a championship game, like, we'd love to have you guys, spread the word on that. But we're excited. We're excited to have you guys, around, be back, and have a great 21 season.
Thanks, Tuck. I will kind of echo that and echo what everybody's been saying, which is we're really looking forward to 2021. Every year is a new challenge and a new puzzle to put together. Certainly, we understand on our end that we make mistakes, just like umpires make mistakes and tournament directors make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But if we communicate, try to get better every single day, and give our best effort, have some fun out there. I don't think we put too many restrictions or rules on you guys, but we do ask for certain things. And that's the way we kind of all get better together. So I appreciate you joining all of us tonight. I will very briefly, kind of like I did last year, I'll open it up to questions here. Two things that I ask. Number one, before you ask a question, you tell me your name. And number two, only ask a question that a number of people are going to benefit from. If you have a question about your schedule or your situation, send us an email later, call us later, text us later. But if you have something that, like, shit, Alex missed that on the call, like, he probably should talk about that or whatever, if it's something that pertains to all of us. Okay. So does anybody have anything? Anybody?
Can you hear me?
Alex.
Hello?
One at a time. We can hear you, kind of.
Hello?
Alex, I'll go. It's Chris Richards.
Okay, Chris, what do you got?
Hey, I'm in West Virginia, and I emailed and said I would come out. What kind of, or how many games per day can I work? Put it that way. I mean, I'm 8 hours from you guys. I don't want to come out and work for just two games. I need to work 4 a night or 5 a night. Is that something that you guys schedule?
Yeah, that's certainly something that we schedule. I think, unless somebody is really asking to work less than that, I think the minimum that Derek and Rob really throw out there is that 4 spot. I mean, occasionally on a Sunday we might be down to a 3 spot, but if you're looking for games because you're coming out there, I think that's the same boat that I think a lot of umpires are in. They want to work games, and they're there to work games, and we understand you're traveling away from your families, and that's what we're trying to accommodate. We're not going to let you work 7 games in a row unless something absolutely insane happens. But certainly, 4 is reasonable. Those 5s are reasonable. That's and on our side, that also comes with to everyone, understanding whether someone can work that kind of volume. If they went to put me out there for 5 games in a row, I would die. Rob and Derek wouldn't do that because they know I wouldn't make it. So that comes down to it too, because if we're constantly putting you on 4 and 5 spots and you're going down with injuries or dehydration, then from our standpoint, we can't do that. But if you can do it, we're there to make that happen for you.
Hey, Alex, this is Tyler Borgman.
Hey, Tyler, what's up, man?
Not much. How you doing?
Good.
So the one question that I have is related to the time situation, and I think it has more to do with the teams and how they operate in relationship to how the umpires operate, because I think when they have and I don't know if this has been talked about before, but when we have the chance, like when it's the game starts at the time of the first pitch, there's very little urgency sometimes from especially coaches to get to a plate meeting, get their team, get their pitcher warmed up, etc.
Yeah.
And at times, like I've been like, all right, coaches, please come to the plate for the meeting, and they want to hit 5 or 6 more ground balls and continue to screw around, and then you end up starting a game 5 minutes late because of them.
Yeah.
So has this been talked about, or this is just a thought to have it start when the plate meeting finishes? I don't know. Obviously, that has to have some discussion with bullpen and all that.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, what I would say is, obviously, like over the course of 10, 12,000 games, whatever it is, like every situation, every rule isn't perfect. I think we had some general, success overall with that. I think bullpen's been using that for quite a few years. Certainly understand where you're coming from. I would say to the umpires probably, if you're in a situation where that happens with a team and you feel like it's worth noting, just let Derek or I know, or whoever's on site, like, hey, this happened and it was bad. Other than that, I think we're just gonna, kind of move on. And I understand that it may cost us a couple minutes, here or there. I think that's also a pretty good argument for trying to get on the field a few minutes early, so that one of those situations happens and we're still kind of on time. I think a lot of times you're dealing with teams and coaches and players, and it's just trying to find that intersection in an easygoing way and trying to get the game started. Like I said, if somebody is really being crazy, I would say, get through it, and at the end of the day, come up to wit or I. Because I guarantee if someone's really giving you a problem in that area, it won't be the first time or the last time we hear about it, and then it can be addressed. But certainly understand your point. Don't want to discount it. I just think that's kind of where everybody's at and where it's always been at Grand Park. So we're going to keep rolling with that, and hopefully that if we see any kind of major issues, we'll obviously have a discussion.
No, I understand that. I just didn't know if it had been talked about or what the thoughts were. So I definitely appreciate the explanation, and that's not a problem.
Thank you. All right. Well, I will wrap this up for the evening. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I want to give a shout out to all the people that will also be listening to this on the back end when we get the recordings up. I know I got a ton of calls today, basketball games and things like that. So we obviously always make this available to everybody. Looking forward to a great year. Get yourself into Arbiter, see the Arbiter invitation, and make sure you accept the group. And we will start rolling here pretty shortly, probably in Indianapolis right around 2 months